I still don't see it.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
my.
now it does. Now it popped up.
Because we got an alert.
Right.
Okay.
We are in business. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. On. Let me make sure everything is
Okay, there it is. There it is.
here it is. All right. And all right. Cool. How's everyone doing?
Right.
Good. I see Barb and Mel popped in. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Barb. I think you're on mute. Glad to see you guys here and healthy this week. See, Mel got, she always gives us something new. She got a little hair down. I see her.
Hi. You in a spaceship? What you in?
I know she's gonna get there all night. Yep. You know, Deborah has to bring a little spice.
I'm like, Deborah, where you at?
All right, and we're gonna get
Like she on
our.
a spaceship Enterprise.
She is taking us there. She is. And we're gonna say hi to our Facebook family as they join us. Welcome. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is our Wind Down Readers. And I am your host, Takesha Edwards of Blueprint to Events. And tonight we're going to be discussing half of the book, What the Mirror Sees by Teria Robens. Why can I get that? You know what? I'm gonna charge me $1. Anyway, crazy week. And without further ado, those who are joining us, I see people are popping in on Facebook a little rapidly. Hi, guys. Those who are joining us for the first time, I just want to say, Wind Down Readers, we're a virtual book club, and we meet, traditionally every other Sunday to discuss, various novels. And we do it through a platform that has a panel through Zoom. And we go live on Facebook, and we discuss it with the author, and we just talk about various themes throughout the book. We don't give the whole book away because we still want people to go out. This is a promotion, people to go out and buy the book, but we like to have fun with taking various topics out of the book and, discussing everyday issues that relate to it, and also some of the steamy things that go on within the novels. And so the great thing about our book club is that we have been blessed. This is our 14th virtual book review. We have been blessed to have the author with us to discuss it. So that's what makes our group extremely special. And so I'd like to first start and introduce our wonderful panel. I'll start with our Midwest folks first. We have Miss Deborah King. Well, you know what? I'll say outer space folks first. Starship Enterprise.
What you got going on?
I know, right? And then we have, we're gonna take y'all down to still Central Time to St. Louis with Miss Marley Ray. How you doing there, girlie?
Good.
Then we're gonna get some little Southern charm and say hi to Miss Nene from Texas.
Hey,
Hi.
And of course, my DC, Maryland, Virginia folks. Oh, and you know what? Excuse me, Lord forgive me. How can I forget our Southern charmer, Miss Pat from Florida?
Yes.
And then our DC, Maryland, and Virginia folks, we have Wanda.
Hi,
Hey,
everyone.
Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
And Gloria. Look, we got two Gloria Johnsons. This is the Glojo right here.
Okay.
We have our male. She's taking a swim already. Kendra with her May Contain Wine t-shirt. I love it. She's gonna have to tell me where to get one of those from. And we have Jay representing the male side, male point of view tonight. And he's coming to us like from the Bahamas.
Ooh.
Right.
Hey, look, actually, I'm in Anacostia Park.
For those of you who do not know, Anacostia Park looks nothing like that. All right, all right. Did I miss anyone? I don't think I did. All right. We have, I got Barbara in there. You know, I got Miss Barbara in there now. And without further ado, I want to introduce coming to us from another person coming to us from the Windy City of Chicago. We have, for those of you who see Cheryl on her name, we have Dr. Cheryl Woodson here. She is the author of What the Mirror Sees. And we are going to, just to give you a little background of the author here. Teria Robens comes to fiction writing as a second career. Although she had written stories since childhood, in 30 years, she published only in her profession. TR is her nickname, wanted to be a successful fiction writer more than she wanted anything else in her life except her kids. TR joined the Romance Writers of America and made lifelong friends in the Windy City chapter. She started attending writers' conferences, and her work earned competitive admission into several university-level master classes in creative writing. She spent years inside her characters' heads before publishing What the Mirror Sees. This is the first book in TR's Diva series, with women who've been on the planet long enough to develop some wisdom along with their insecurities. Like many of us, these grown women struggle to put themselves higher on the to-do list once they realize that it's not too late to reach for their dreams. TR is a girly girl who has also earned a second degree in black belt in Taekwondo. Watch out, y'all. She and her husband raised two amazing young adults and live in Chicago area with a cat who loves water and plays fetch. Living her dreams in retirement, in addition to writing, TR travels to destination spas and takes voice lessons. She also improving her roller skating skills and learning to ride horses. And check this out, y'all, motorcycles. It's full of some layers, right? All right. So that's a little bit about our author, TR, tonight. So let's talk about this book we're going to review tonight. I'm just going to give a brief synopsis for what the book is about for those of us who are watching live on Facebook who have not read, and of those of us who have read, just give us a brief overview of what it is. So What the Mirror Sees. Divorced mom, Deidre Davenport hides years of pain behind a happy facade. She hires John Robert Stone, also known as JR, to investigate a leak in her business finances. The gruff but gorgeous and younger forensics accountant gets on Dee Dee's last nerve, but also ignites her passion as they follow a money trail that could get both of them killed. If Dee Dee wants to save her company and claim this chance for love with JR, she will have to stop pretending and ensure that a truly happy woman is what the mirror sees. All right. So you guys know, as in tradition, this is the time that we shout out what we're drinking tonight, because it is Wine Down Readers. So Facebook, if you could go ahead and put in the comments what you're drinking tonight. I want to say hey to, who do we have here? We have Desiree Kelly here watching with us. I saw a few names here. Let me see, I have to scroll up because we're already getting the comments going here. All right, all right. So I'm going to start with me tonight. I try to use every time we have a panel discussion to try something new, but I don't know why I was craving Prosecco tonight. So this is what I'm having. All right.
Because it's good.
I walked past it, Mel. I did one of those walk up.
Right.
I'm getting this. I'm sorry. So that's what I'm drinking on tonight. Let's see. Barbara, what you got?
Moscato d'Asti.
Ooh, she always has like a nice little tasty sweet drink, you know. Gloria, Glow Joe, what you got going on over there?
Stella, watermelon.
Ooh, and I like the little fancy cup you got there.
Thank you.
Mel.
Okay. I have tea.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me tell you why.
Uh-oh.
I was starting to sneeze and sniff a little bit, so I was convinced I had corona. So I had corona all weekend. But I feel better now.
Yeah, thank God. Look, thank God there's a doctor in the house. Okay.
Yeah, I had corona all weekend. It's like, I got the virus. So I had corona yesterday, y'all. Whatever.
You don't know Mel. She's just a little bit of a hypochondriac. Just a little bit. I was worried about her.
In the family.
Yeah, it does run the family.
All right, Wanda, what you got going on over there? Uh-oh, I think you're on mute, Wanda.
So tonight, again, I'm going light. So I have some imported punch from the Carolinas.
Oh,
You're supposed to bring us some of that.
Right, and that ain't light. When the Carolina punch been light?
yeah. Anytime it's a Southern punch, it's usually a punch.
It ain't light. Right.
Light tonight.
Mimi, what you have over there?
Well, so I have a little story like Mel. So I was still celebrating my birthday all weekend. So I was drinking Prosecco as well all day yesterday and evening. And then today I was at a brunch. So I was also drinking Prosecco. So I'm now drinking Topo Chico mineral water.
Okay.
Yes,
so you already nice and nice.
Yeah,
That's
she
like
been all weekend.
Yeah,
That
I've been
ain't
like
the
that
same.
since.
That ain't the same.
Yeah.
I had corona. That ain't the same.
If you haven't noticed, Mel is going to be your wild card for tonight.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Jay, what you got over there? Now you are in the
Okay.
Water.
Why you ask?
You know he drinking water.
From the beach.
It's high quality.
Tried.
It's high quality water. It's not tap water.
Oh,
It's
it's high quality.
from Deer Park.
Okay.
Kendra, what you got for me? Don't disappoint me now.
Oh, I have a red Cabernet
Oh,
Syrah.
I like Cabernet.
It's
Nice.
good. It's been breathing for about an hour, so it's right.
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 You announced it nice and slow, like it's really good. All right, Marley Ray, what you drinking on in St. Louis tonight?
Okay, I have this is my week wine, not my weekend wine. So I drink this during the week. So it is a Riesling. Yeah. Okay. So I'm with Wanda. I got something light tonight.
Nice and light. Okay. All right, Deborah King. You know what? I know you're gonna take and look, it's half gone.
She done poured the whole bottle already.
Look at the
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I just have a plain old Moscow Mule with vodka and ginger beer. That's all.
Plain old.
My husband loves those. They're good. I've been hooked on them for 2 weeks.
Now we know why she's on a spaceship.
Right.
Exactly.
Go, girl.
You've been on it for 2 weeks? On the spaceship for 2 weeks?
Yes, been on spaceship 2 weeks.
Yes, I've been on the spaceship for 2 weeks too.
I gotta ask you right quick, before we move on. We're gonna have to nickname that cup. I'm sorry, that cup. So everybody, let's mull over that for next time. We
R2D2.
Exactly.
Is that the right movie?
R2D2.
No, that's not the right movie.
That's not the right movie.
Oh yeah, that's Star Wars.
They still have spaceships in Star Wars. What you talking about?
What you drinking on, Miss Pat?
Oh, so I'm following you tonight. I have Cristalano champagne.
Okay.
Nice.
I need a little bubbly.
Celebrate.
All right. Well, TR, you gonna take us on home. What you drinking on tonight? I know you started a little early too.
I did, because I was nervous. And fall is my favorite time of year. So this is spiced apple cider with a shot of amaretto.
All right.
All right. Good. I'm gonna try that. Let me
Yeah.
write that down.
That is a nice
Try that
story.
too.
Like that. I think
That's gonna be my nightcap.
Oh,
I got it.
Right on home.
Mhm.
okay, so I'm looking at Facebook here. Alex, you guys, again, those of you who know us and those who are watching, Alex's birthday is tomorrow, so he's out celebrating. And so he's joining us via
Birthday,
Facebook.
Alex.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Alex.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday,
Alex.
Sparkling rosé tonight. That's what he said he's drinking. And
Okay.
Steph, who's also, she's in the Carolinas tonight. Oh, look at that, Alex. That's for you.
All right. Happy
Oh,
birthday,
that's so
baby.
cute.
We miss you.
She's drinking Dublin White Sangria from the Carolinas. Look at that. All right, we have Pat Heath. She's drinking, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, it's Cortes de Rome. Something fancy. All right. Let's see. So that's what our Facebook group right now is drinking on. So we're gonna have a toast to What the Mirror Sees, chapter 1 through 35, and as well as Alex's birthday. So we're gonna cheers to that.
Cheers.
All right, all right. So before we get started, I wanted to let everybody know that we do want to remind people that we have a YouTube channel, and all of our videos from the past reviews are there. And we also have a Instagram account, so follow us there. And if you wanted to reach out to Wind Down Readers, please do. Just email us at winddownreaders@gmail.com, and we would love to chat with you. All right, so let's get on to What the Mirror Sees. And before we start, traditionally, I did want to ask TR here, you know, what brought you to write this particular story? Because this story has a lot of layers without giving it away, but I'm going to pass the mic to you. What brought you to this particular story?
Well, as the writers know, the characters write the book.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you want to take it in one direction, they'll go, and bring you I don't know. I was studying for a board exam, and I locked myself in a room and I just studied. And after I took the exam, I couldn't hear my characters and I panicked. And it took about 6 weeks for them to come back. They did not apologize. And it just started happening. So Dee Dee wrote this herself. That's all I can say.
Wow.
Now, I love how you add little snippets of yourself in there, because I see too. Especially with the Taekwondo with you and Dee Dee.
Motorcycle.
And I won't give too much away unless you don't want me to. But yeah, I saw a little bit of the similarities. I don't know if you want to share.
I have to give a shout out to Senior Master Patty Barnum.
Okay.
Because that gun disarm is a 3rd degree and I'm a 2nd degree. So I didn't know it. She taught it to me.
Oh, wow.
I asked her to just describe it. She said, no. She actually had me come in. This lady, there's only 3 women in the world that outrank her in this organization. She gave me time. She said, you have to know you just got shot. You have to know you messed it up. And so she took about 45 minutes and taught me the gun disarm. And then afterwards, she edited it for me. So Master Barnum, that's my girl.
Well, she did a wonderful job. Okay. So, okay. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get into our discussion tonight. And before we start, I do want to say, I know the questions that you guys were prepped with, we probably won't get able to get to them all. And you know how we do on this panel. Sometimes the wheel can steer off to the left. And we're just going to go with it. I had someone chime in that emailed me and asked me, you know, how do you come up with your discussion topics? And I said, we come up with them, but sometimes they come up with themselves. Depending on the discussion. So I just want to put that disclaimer out. So our first topic is, if you were in Dee Dee's position and discovered your spouse was cheating, would you react the same way she did? Now, we know that for those who have not read the book, we know that Dee Dee and Derek were married, and due to some, without giving it away, some unfortunate circumstances, Dee Dee took the wheel into dissolving the marriage, but for those of you who have read, what do you think? What's your opinion on how Dee Dee went about discovering, the situation with Derek and how she went forward with it? Nene, I see you smiling. Do you want to start?
No, I'm gonna let Kendra start.
Because she's gonna tell us which man she doesn't like. Who you don't like, Nene?
Exactly.
Who is it?
I'll wait to the second question.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll do the first one.
Go right ahead, Miss Pat.
I would have done exactly what she did. She was very, very strategic. That sister didn't miss a beat. In the middle of being torn down, you know what I mean? That's a difficult place to be in, and to have to think straight enough to be able to take all the steps she took, go into the bank, getting her kids straightened out.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
She worked that plan. I was like, wow, that's amazing. She was very strategic. She just, it came like, I got to do something, so let me get it done. And the anguish she went through at that time, I can feel that sort of thing, because I felt that sort of thing before, so I know what that's like. So I applaud her. I would have done exactly what she did.
Now I will say this: when I read it, and I'm sorry, Wanda, when I read it, I thought to myself, there must be some mommy mode stuff.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I can't, you got to have like kids, like, you know what, let me roll up my sleeves and get this done so I can make my grand exit. But the way, like you said, Miss Pat, the way she was strategic, it was almost like a business plan.
That's how you have to run your life. You have to
Yeah.
run your life just like that. Put the emotions to the side.
I know your hand.
I had to deal with some family death situations, and it seems like it always just falls on me to have to handle things. So I go into a business mode. I do not grieve until it's over.
Yeah.
So I just handle business. Every day I get up at 8 o'clock, go to the cemetery, go to the funeral home, go wherever you have to do, take care of the business, and then I collapse after everything's done. And so I can see what she was doing. She was in business mode.
She sure was, and she took care of business too. Say, Wanda.
No, I mean, I was going to say I totally agree with Miss Pat. I think she did kick into business mode, but I think it also demonstrated his lack of his ego, in that he felt like she was just a housewife, and for her to get herself together, and totally together, and build up her confidence to go in to do the things that she did, said a lot. And I think later on we have a question about him, but I think that you hear and see that more and more, that men of power think that whoever their spouse is, no matter what, that they're still beneath them, and they don't understand that we're strong women too, that can make some decisions and just allow you to be the man. But when it's time to kick in, it kicks in. And I think she did a great job of.
But didn't it kind of start that way though?
What do you mean?
Like the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he thought he had more than made her submissive, but he had also made her, dismissed her in her ability, I think, more than anything. And I think that was her first step at showing him that she could do it without him.
It's funny that when I was reading this, and I don't know if you guys kept up with the news, but and it's not to say that it's the exact same thing, but there was a discussion about Andrew Gilliam's wife, and how, with the whole situation with them, and the big discussion was like, well, if she knew this about him, like, why did she go forward with the marriage? Was it a situation of opportunity? Like, when people have rank and power with their position as far as work and resources do, again, and I think I've even brought this question up with previous books, do we make it, exceptions when it comes to that? Because at first, in the beginning, it was like she was getting that, even with family and friends, oh, the Miss Dr. Miss Davenport, to be. And then when she got in that position, that's when, what the mirror sees. She saw exactly, what she had gotten into. And I love that Dr. Field quote you put in there. And forgive me if I misquote, but it was something about when you marry for money, you earn every penny of it.
Yeah.
I thought that was very foretelling of the situation that Dee Dee got in. And you could either feel sorry for and root for her, or some people may say, like Mel, I think you might have been leading to, like, well, you knew what you was getting into.
Yeah.
Because Derek, unfortunately, seemed very consistent.
Yeah. I'm like, not surprising.
Yeah.
I think the way she.
But let me say this. I am saying this with a 50+ mind. So. So when right, so
when they got together,
25, you may not know that.
True. I do think it was some maturity level with Dee Dee, definitely.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. And most people, strongly advise, or our society always strongly advise you get counseling before marriage.
Yeah.
But do we still, I think it's very important, especially in Dee Dee's particular situation with how she is when she handles her business. And then as far as how she is, the credit she gives herself when she's looking for a mate. I think we need to start promoting getting therapy after a marriage.
Yeah, I agree.
You gotta retrain the mind.
I agree. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But didn't we also see, though, her character is also that her self-esteem is kind of low? I mean, I think, even with that, she had to say, I got to dress myself this way. I have to do this, to kind of build up her courage to do stuff. But then as the book goes on to the 35 chapters that we were only able to read, you still,
no shade, Wanda, no shade.
Right. In any situation though that she's in, whether it was with her girlfriends, her sister, or whomever, she was still always the one to try to have the balance, the one to, kind of be the one to kind of lay back a little bit. And when
Wanda, I had a flashback to Waiting to Excel when she, the hair, the clothes and everything, because even in that book, it was like the character was the long hair. Her husband wanted her to have long hair. And see, Dee Dee had natural hair, but he didn't want her to have her hair like that. He wanted the long, the weave and this and the other. And so that's when I started looking. I'm like, okay, she's dressing like he wants her. She can't make any decisions without what he tells her. Everything in the house, the white.
The house.
The room upstairs was just hers and the boys, and that was like the only livable room. So it was like her self-esteem was really low, but it was like she still did everything to try to please him because she was Dr. Davenport's wife. But I could tell she was going to finally see that this man was cheating on her. And I was so happy that she finally left, but some of us, we have to actually see it. We know in our mind, but when we see it, that's when we act. So I love, like Pat said, I love the way she reacted, how she got the money together, how she got them boys together. She had the suitcases packed. So they spent the night and so I'm getting out of here. But she didn't leave until she had her confrontation. And I'm glad she didn't run. She had to get her piece said. So I loved all of that.
She would have been a
get to him. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. But I have seen women like that.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, who are married to millionaires, and appearance is everything for them.
Yes.
Their reputation. They don't want to be embarrassed, although they get drunk and fall on the floor in the middle of a party. But it's always but it's a big deal to them, all of that. And when I hear them standing around talking to each other, it's always, my kids go to that school. Your kids don't go there. Oh, it's just always a bunch of muckety muck ridiculousness. No realism at all, but they have to live that because these men expect that. And it comes right back to that quote. When you marry for money, you earn every penny of it.
That's right.
You working for that money, that status.
Miss Pat, to chime in on that with that quote as well as Wanda's comment, I think in the beginning when she met him, she did have her dreams and her sense of value. Along with that statement, when you marry for money, you earn every penny of it. But she was also married to a surgeon who always took a cut or a slice and dug into her.
Yes.
Until she was worn down. And it made her second guess herself. Those, online business classes and stuff prepare her to react like a business person. And I've experienced some of the same things you said, Miss Pat, about, you deal with all of that later. But when you look at what's going on firsthand, let's get this business taken care of. And it seems that he was always attached to the fame and the name. And that was never even brought up in the book because he never reacted to her just taking that money and just swoosh. That wasn't brought up. So I thought maybe that would have been, brought up later in the storyline. But how she moved on. And once to me, she did that. She transferred that money and it was like she had burned the ship. So now I gotta go. Because if she hadn't done that, she probably would have second guessed a lot of stuff. But it was so authentic and human of her to express. She had her doubts, she had her concerns, just like most of us have about anything. But she kept moving as far as getting out of the marriage and getting a divorce. Now, the other stuff, that's a little bit different. But as far as the marriage, she acted like the dignified Southern lady to me. She went in, she didn't cause no chaos. He flipped aside and started acting like I'm not gonna say a woman, but he started acting like he wasn't. Well, he's always been a brat, but he really portrayed a 3-year-old tantrum and just hurtful.
Because he was used to getting his way. Let me see what our Facebook group is saying over here. So we have Deborah Davis. She said, I was surprised how quickly she worked her plan. It took me a year to figure out what to do. Wow, Deborah, I think me and you would have been in the same boat. I would have had to, I gotta get devastated first, then clear my head and then work with the plan. But I prefer the way that Dee Dee does it. I see here Lauren Murph. She says, hi, everyone. Congratulations, TR. The book is so great. She's giving out shout outs here. And then Pat Heath also said, yes, Nene, Kendra, true. She tried to keep things she wanted, but wanted to keep things on a even keel. Yeah. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's leverage that into our next discussion topic. So what do you guys think about Brother Derek?
Narcissistic.
Don't hold back.
Controlling.
Before we start throwing darts, I will say this. I'm going to give Brother Wanda, give me the mic for 2 seconds. I will say this. At some point, I will say I do think Derek is an acquired taste. Okay, very acquired.
I agree.
But like sour milk.
Okay. But was he not consistent?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He
so
began
we
to tell
really
you.
blame him for being who he was.
No.
Now, granted, Dee Dee did evolve into herself, and her self-esteem was building to the point where it did compromise being his sort of, I don't know, submissive
appendage,
on the Bible type wife.
That appendage.
Right. But Brother Derek was consistent. You know what I'm saying? He on wife number 3, got Jillian going for the gusto for him. He being consistent. Life is good for Brother Derek. What y'all think?
You know what? I agree with you, Keisha. I think that
I agree too.
I did not like Derek's personality, but Derek was definitely very, very consistent, and he never changed who he was throughout the entire book. I think Dee Dee, on the other hand, she eventually changed. And I think that's why, when she left, I know somebody online said it took them a year to leave. I don't think it took her that long because she already knew. So none of what happened to her was a surprise. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that was finally what she needed to make her leave. But I think the plan was already in place because him cheating or whatever, it wasn't a surprise at all.
No.
But I think with Derek, is just, you really can't be mad at him because he is who he is. So it's hard to be mad at someone who shows you who they are and you want them to be a different person and you're upset with them because they're not different. He is who he is. So
he definitely is who he is. Now I'm gonna ask Jay. So Jay, with this brother Derek guy, okay, big top surgeon, you know, married Dee Dee. She, you know, he's Dr. Davenport. She's Mrs. Davenport. So, you know, of course, in his mind, he ranks over her. But he's consistent. He's just, you know, has to have his way. What's your take on that?
He feels his money is power.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And he feels that, you know, right now, she can't do no better than him.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. How old is he?
And he will let her know, and he will constantly remind her, "You're nothing without me."
Right.
He did.
And he did in the book. Shockingly, I was shocked that he kind of did when he I think it was around in chapter 26, maybe I may be wrong, when he told her about you've never introduced the boys to anybody. So
yeah.
You know, it seems
But
like
when
there's a crack.
his father died, he said, "This is your last chance, chick."
And I'm like, and your wife is in the next room.
Yeah. when she put him on his butt.
Yeah.
Using her taekwondo.
OTR.
So you said Derek showed us who he was from the beginning, and so he was who he was. But then a few minutes ago, we talked about Dee Dee having counseling after the marriage. It's kind of like that didn't make it right. That's just because he was.
No, we didn't say it was right.
It's not right.
It's like we.
It's like this.
There was no learning. There was not, even in what she went through, there were always learnings and teachable moments or whatever. I mean, and you can say a person is whether it's a man or woman, a person is going to do what they're going to do or whatever. But it was like nobody ever went. Okay, the scene after the father's funeral was one thing, but until that point, Dee Dee continued to entertain him.
Yes.
So nobody from his mother all the way through, none of those wives and probably other side pieces and anything, nobody had ever told him who he was and how this behavior wasn't acceptable. Derek's just Derek. You know, which is so unfair, I think. It's unfair. And then I don't know what comes later, but the other part is how it seems she walked away from, we haven't gotten to Vermont yet. So she walked away from, you know, one thing because she didn't want to commit her, but for him, it was like she always kept the door open. The same thing for the second wife, the same thing, you know, it's just, and to me, I would be, whether it's money and power or whatever, it's not all that. At some point, you have to make them understand it's not all that. Whether they didn't have any money and they were the best, whatever, it's got to be about you at some point.
But you're not going to make him understand. You could tell him all day long. He's not listening to you because you don't.
Yeah.
So right now, you're hating on me for telling me what in your mind is the truth. But I got the money and the power. I'm not listening to you.
Good point,
narcissists don't.
No. Narcissists.
I don't. I'm not listening to you.
That's the right term, Nene. That's exactly
the correct term.
Right.
It
I get what you're
saying,
Wanda.
It goes in one end out the other, and then they anybody to tell him no, he's just going to disassociate himself with.
Takesha, it's like you mentioned Gilliam in that situation earlier. It seems like it's real nice how you plug in a celeb into our books, but it's another popular celeb that acts the same way. He was a celeb and then he got promoted to the highest office.
Yes.
Reminds me of the same person.
I did too.
I thought of him too.
Yeah, I thought of him the whole
narcissist, pal, who gonna check me? I'm gonna say what I want to say. You know, but I said the same thing you said. Homeboy is consistent not to be a politician. He's very consistent.
Yeah.
But that's just a thought.
When they show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
Right. Right. And to Wanda's point, when she said that, you know, that it wasn't right, and I definitely agree that it's not right, but I view it as it's kind of like being upset with a dog for functioning the way that you know that they function. So
Touche.
you know, you can't get mad at a pit bull if you go touch him and he bites you.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, it wasn't right, but you knew the possibilities when you rubbed his head.
Right.
So, you know, it's kind of like you can't. To me, Dee Dee was very passive aggressive. Very passive aggressive. So she knew what she was getting, even if she didn't know what she was getting into. At some point during the marriage, she did figure it out, and she chose to stay. Whether it was, you know, because her state of mind was off or whatever it was, but Derek was consistent. So you really cannot be mad at him for functioning as he is. That's who he is.
I think Dee and I could be friends for the simple fact that she had the support of her sister and her girlfriends, but she never brought Derek up.
Yeah.
They did.
They did.
You couldn't be friends if she brought Derek up, because I don't want to be invested in that, because clearly other people's opinion doesn't matter to her, and which it shouldn't, because when people are married, you don't really give opinions in married people business. But I liked how she never brought him up. She really only tolerated Derek with Derek and his ego. I feel like he needed he didn't really need an alternate ego, because he was who exactly he was. He should have just had a shirt flashing like, I am a narcissist, come love me, you have nothing else to do.
No,
Right.
you want to love me.
Yeah.
Yes, you gonna love me, right?
Yeah.
Barbara, I see your hand.
I think Derek just picked the wrong woman. There are women who would be very happy in
I agree,
that
Barbara.
situation. So
I agree.
I'm just not gonna say, you know, Derek is a bad person. I don't like him, but there are women that would be very content to be the doctor's wife, to have money to spend and just do whatever and just leave me alone. I don't care what you do, just as long as you bring me in the money. So he just picked the wrong woman.
I agree. Yeah.
That's a very interesting point.
Yeah, he picked the wrong one. No, she's not saying he's a good guy.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying.
No, she's not saying that. I agree, Barbara. He picked the wrong woman.
I think
3 times.
Dee Dee wasn't his match.
3 times.
No,
He found the right one.
It looked like Jillian was very comfortable in her role.
Yeah,
Right.
blaming Dee Dee for everything.
Yeah. So
That's what you gotta do, right? That's what you gotta do.
Dee Dee has something that the rest of them didn't have.
Right, those
children.
But he didn't care about the kids, no way.
But he did. But from Jillian's standpoint, that was something she didn't have.
As a mother?
In the fact that as her being the third one at the time, I don't know what happens later, but at least the third one right now, she was just jealous of her, because that was one thing she did have, is that she had children with him, and that was going to always keep a connection between them, whether it was good, smooth running or whatever, but it was something she couldn't give him. Because every time you heard her, she threatened to take things from him. I know people who are XYZ. I have people that are whatever. So it's like a threat that she could take some of his money away or some of his power away, but she could never take those children away.
But when she was piecing all of that together, and she kept saying, okay, now I can see why he didn't want me to go to the party. It's like plausible. Is that the word? Look for plausible deniability. Yeah. And she didn't ask the questions that she already knew the answer, because it would be there. She wouldn't have to guess. So it's like she knew those answers, but she didn't have to guess about it. And she was like, well, he always found an excuse, I'm single in a marriage, raising my children. And of course, you probably didn't really want the answer. He's a narcissist, because he would really told you how he felt. But when they were having the talk, and he said what he said about the boys, and I never wanted kids. See, then he answered that. So no conversations about kids, period. I mean, and she had the ability to be able to take them away and raise them like she wanted without interference. And I guess the good part, but I applaud how the boys protected their mother, you know, shielded him from the crazy third ex-wife. But I don't know, just as a mother, I may think that, because mothers think a lot of things, especially about their children. And I just took off my mama bear shirt. But for you to tell me you feel that way about my children,
we wouldn't have no more conversation.
Not another conversation.
No.
Period.
Now I will say, I'm going to, since we already kind of touched on my next question, which is kind of a open discussion, not exclusive to just the Dee Dee and Derek dynamic, but just in general. You know, I've never been married, so I'm gonna let you guys who have been married before, currently married, take this one over. But after Dee Dee's divorce to the good Dr. Derek Davenport,
she loves saying that.
Derek seems really comfortable, you know, communicating with Dee Dee beyond, you know, as friends, like not even just talking about him, the dynamic between him and her and the kids, but you know, he has the cojones enough to even talk to her about Megan and all this stuff. And I'm reading this and it's like, Dee Dee,
why are you listening to him?
Yes.
Right. Well, you don't get to do that. Those privileges are up. But again, I've never been married. I've never been divorced. So I don't know. You know, in a situation like that, should it just be business only? Should he only be discussing with her about, you know, the boys and their well-being? Yeah. I didn't like the way that Dee Dee catered to that. And you know, in a situation, I could see if she relied on him for finances or something. I mean, it's wrong either way, but then I could at least have an excuse to say, oh, she's just, you know, listening to him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good term, placating.
He didn't even need him for, you know, that money was going into, you know, the boys' trust. I wouldn't talk to him about Megan or Jillian or Heather or Lucy or whoever.
She got caller ID, so when the name comes up, Sam, here's your daddy. Sam, here's your daddy. That's it. We have nothing to talk about. He flatline, call 911 for your daddy.
Thank you.
I don't know. What do you think her
mind? And that goes back to how she just entertained him and she kept him, you know, in times that she didn't really have to. You know, so having been married and have children and have stepchildren, from the first man, I always felt like after the kids got a certain age, there was no reason for my husband at the time to have any interaction with his ex-wife or vice versa.
Right, you don't, right?
Because the kids are, you know, the kids are grown. If they are taking kids, once that happens, that's, you know, we get them to 18 and then they're grown and mature enough to make their own decisions, or should be. And so
you know, it might be because that was her first marriage, her first love. First time as being a mother, because now I sit back and think about it. I think, you know, sometimes when my parents were divorced, my dad would call my mom and he would and I would literally just take the phone and hang it up. You know, I didn't dial in a line for anybody to make me feel bad about myself. And, you know, when we were in the marriage before I got out, I may have tolerated, but that business arrangement and that decree, you went against our marriage arrangements. I'm moving forward. It's over. You don't. People, and I'm not going to say men, people don't do more than what you allow them to.
Right.
And so I can't accept the phone calls because it doesn't seem that he ever, you know, was kind of wrote in that maybe he would stop and see the kids. But I would be, you can meet me at the station to get the kids to police station, you know, and my brother would be in the car to talk to them. I would be like, Floetis, you couldn't speak to me, and it's not anger, but it's for my peace because she's doing too much of this.
Right.
She's doing too much of that. You're not about to disrupt my peace. I was uneased and on shelves when I was married to you. I'm not gonna do it being divorced. And can we talk about the name of the business?
Yes.
She don't just know how to cut wires. Okay.
No.
That was a little bit too much. I'm gonna calm down. That was too much.
But it still to me goes back to her, to again, her low self-esteem and then her always to want there to be peace for everybody, but not for herself. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like the times that she took her own things into her own life and issues into consideration were almost extreme times but for everybody else, they had a long rope that they could pull and tug at, and that she would respond to. And he especially, because I agree. I mean, she shouldn't have had to have anything to do with him once she left, and she had money, and he was doing whatever he was doing. But again, her is for the kids, it's for her family, it's what are people going to think? You know, I was, you know, Miss Davenport, Dr. Davenport kind of person that she just it was like she couldn't separate those things until it was like when she was almost angry. Then she would try to separate them. You look at the next relationship that she was in, how much she put up with because I'm a settle now because they're a nice person, they do this, but she still wasn't, she hadn't stopped massaging her temples, and she hadn't stopped wringing her, you know, she just was still not at ease. The only time she only had one at ease moment, and that was, you know, on her trip when she finally said, I'm going to let go and do all of this. But then she went right back to Chicago and got right back in her same little wheel.
Wanda reminds us of the Ayanna Van Zant, the calmer version of this group. Wanda is the Ayanna Van Zant of the group.
Yes.
She's just a mellow version.
Yeah.
She's just so peaceful, make you change your mind and thoughts.
Yes, beloved.
I see your hand.
Beloved.
Okay, fine.
I've been watching y'all all day.
He set the tone with going back. I'm sorry, Pat, but to me, when she set the tone of allowing Derek to call her all the time with Megan. When she allowed those conversations, it led to the rest of him calling anytime he wanted to call and talk to her. So she did that at the beginning. She allowed that to happen.
What you said, Chloe?
She never nipped it in the bud, like from
Right.
the start.
Right.
So of course, like you said earlier, people will do what you allow them to do. So he kept on accepting the phone calls, kept sitting there listening to it. So of course he's gonna keep on calling.
Yeah, I had a new number. Everything would have been changed.
How far he can get.
Yep.
Boys would have had phone calls just to accept calls from their dad. I'd have been like, don't give your daddy my cell number.
One of the things he did.
You had your hand up very patiently.
So first of all, it took Dee Dee to be gone for him to realize what he lost. Okay.
Yes.
But then he got a lot of his information from the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Most
did.
of the things he could tell her that was going on is the children told him.
She didn't school those boys.
Which was the problem too.
Well, she didn't control what they could say to their father. And she always tried to maintain a lifestyle where there would not be anything very negative that they could say.
That's true.
But if it were me, I would only text and send emails because that is what the law will accept if you need proof.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would never
business,
talk to
Miss
him.
Pat.
It would just be text messages and email because now I have documented proof of what I said and what you said.
Very smart.
That's
Very
handling
smart.
business.
I don't even. Well, did she even really need to talk to him?
She didn't.
No,
she didn't need to talk.
No, she had no reasons to talk to him.
None.
It was. She was. Let me tell you, Dee Dee got on my last nerve. Okay.
Thank you, Marlon.
Man, I rubbed off on you, Marlon.
Because I would get so upset when she would talk to him on the phone. I'm like,
Yes.
talking to him, like hang up. And she would sit there, he would upset her, and she would just listen and listen. So that was a passive part of her that I could not stand.
Yes.
And it was like she was passive at the wrong time. I'm like, if you're gonna be passive in Vermont. I mean, come on now, that's fine, dude.
Yeah.
But you call a short ex-husband?
Was he
short?
Yes, he was short. Wasn't he short?
Was he short, Cheryl? Was he short? I don't think you gave the measurements. You gave the measurements
like
for
a fire
JR.
hydrant.
Yes, he was short. Yes,
He was short.
That was another problem too. That was
the main problem. He was short.
I didn't like him because he was too short.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
We love the short people too.
Thank you.
Okay, I do want to say
not short narcissistic people. You're just like short people. That's something different.
Okay,
Right.
so Pat Heath has said, you know, when he ran into someone who knew her, when he ran into someone who knew her, sad, he just used his kids. Oh, okay, she was commenting to you guys' comment. I just want to make sure. And he only asked about her when he won.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I want to move on to our, you know, we're getting ready to go to Vermont. All right.
I'm ready.
Put on
I'm
your
ready.
Now, during Dee Dee's trip to Vermont, she meets the younger Rob, also AKA JR, and they have an entanglement, you know, as
Really, was it
Jada
an
Pinkett
entanglement?
Smith likes to say.
My
And
kind.
during the trip, Dee Dee leaves, you know, before saying goodbye to that JR. That description of JR, I'm telling you. But anyway, you think she was kind of wrong for that? Now, and before you answer, I'll say this, and wrong in a sense of JR, and they both knew that they were on, you know, it wasn't a permanent location or a permanent thing. So, you know, you're putting your mind in the fact that, like, I'm on vacation. Right. And you meet someone, and like, you know, you said you don't even exchange last names, and you vibe, and it was strong, and you have an entanglement. Is she really obligated? Was she really wrong for, you know, sliding on out of there the way she should?
Go ahead,
Okay, Marley Ray, I
Go
think
ahead.
your hand is up. I'm not for sure.
Okay, so I feel two different ways about the situation. I think that the way that she left him, I think it was necessary because her mind was not right and she would have ruined it.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I think that she, even if they had stayed in touch, she would have ruined it because the boys are little. She still was talking to that short thing that she was married to. And so, you know, so I think she would have ruined it. So although I was upset, I was all like, so you really not gonna give me your phone number? You really not gonna try to contact them when you leave? But I think it was necessary. Although as much as I wanted her to get involved with him, with her state of mind, she was too weak at the time. She was too weak, and she would have ruined it, and he would have hated her.
Yeah.
Thank you for the maturity of this book.
Yeah, she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
Yeah, and at that age level, you know, that's a good factor. Young people need to read books this way before they get to that mid-age. It'll save them a lot of heartache. But that was so important. I totally agree with you, Marley. I totally agree with you. She would have messed it up. And since we
I
weren't allowed to get the
I
chapter
didn't realize he
35.
was that young either at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that much younger than her at the time. So he probably wasn't ready either. But I didn't realize at the time. He came off as being pretty mature at the time, but I didn't know that he was in his 20s, like when they met, right?
Yeah, he was in his 20s.
I didn't realize he was that young at the time. So you know, when a 20-year-old dude ain't ready for nothing. Yeah. So they both weren't ready. She wasn't ready mind-wise, and I don't think he was ready either. So
I don't know if I would say that I would say that she probably wasn't ready because I hadn't thought about the kids and their age and whatever. But he you know, had been in the Marine Corps. So, I mean, he had some maturity. He wasn't like he lived at home and, you know, did that sort of thing. And he made conscious decisions, it seemed, about the things he did and the path that he wanted to take. So I thought that level of maturity was there. But it was a different kind of waiting to, oh no, Stella got a groove back. It was a different one. It was interesting how neither of them, they had that attraction, but neither of them were acting on it like it was long term. Right. That was the biggest surprise, is that it seemed to be so natural, the relationship, but the ending of it was because they had come into it so platonic, and it ended up that way. It was like you made assumptions about what tomorrow was going to bring versus a real conversation about what this meant. You know, you have dinner, you meet the family, do all of these things, but you don't have that other conversation of what's tomorrow. He assumed there was a tomorrow, and she made up her mind in that after that moment, those moments, that her tomorrow was going to be getting back on that bus and on a plane and going back to Chicago, you know, which is it's interesting because a lot of us, when you have something like that. It's like, oh, like he's cool, she's cool, let's get together or whatever. We're gonna see each other, and now we build, we both are connected. But it doesn't always happen that way. I just think, and until I got to chapter 35, I was kind of like, okay, well, what was all that about? Because everybody's gone their own separate way. Years are going by. I was getting kind of like
10.
Yeah.
10.
I'm saying, did she forget? The author forget that she had this.
Yeah, until we get to chapter 35.
How would they get back? I mean, lives were totally different. Different states. It wasn't like he happened in Chicago or she happened back to California. It was just kind of like, so where is this going? So I think from a writer's standpoint and the readers, that was really intriguing because it was kind of like, this is over. She had started, and then she got married, a little taekwondo master, whoever, and she went off into her world. That's what
Ayana, you right, but they did create a memory. Homeboy shook her chakra. I mean, he adjusted her chakras.
Which is another reason to get a phone number, even if it was for just another night, right?
Thank you, Ayana.
Considering how they met on a trip, and then that strong attraction, with her leaving the way she did, how it affect JR. It was really breaking my heart through the book. It was like, as time went on, I was like, oh my God, Tiara, you bring me back.
Wait, I marked that. What did the author say that JR said? I marked it. He said, when he described the young, what was her, the young tour guide? He said, it was, I marked it. It had to do, it was the phrase that dealt with all brains, body by
Fisher, mind by Mattel.
Yes. Hashtag that. That is so true.
Was that with Tiffany? Is that right, Tiara?
Yeah, Tiffany.
Yes. Body by Fisher, mind by Mattel.
Yes.
We'll have to hashtag that. Yeah. Okay. And then, going on, with that situation where they had, the trip entanglement, was JR or Rob and Dee Dee's connection, do you think it was more one-sided? Because to me, it felt as if, JR kind of took it a lot hard. It was like kind of life-changing a little bit for him, even with, as time went on and he met the girl, Rochelle. I was kind of, at that point, I was like, well, maybe, even though I'm dying for him to connect back with Dee Dee, but maybe she's the one. And then when she broke it down to him on how their relationship couldn't go any further, I was really like, oh my God, I went on an emotional roller coaster with that.
Keisha, when she said, every time I tried to talk to you, you step back and you fidget in your pocket, and she said, for what? And I look in the pocket and it's a stone. Took me. I was like, yes. You just rubbing on a stone.
He still
just what you call a stupid stone.
Who figures that out? I would have never made that connection. Would you guys? Not me.
I don't
That's
think
so
that
sweet.
connection. I did too.
But Keisha, your question was about him. He talked about he talked about things that he done on trips before with other groups that have come through. And I think the shocker for him was the tables were turned. She walked away from him. And for him, he never really committed to anybody. But you get these single women on these bus trips that come through, and he had his opportunities. And so he took an opportunity this time that I think backfired for him. And it did hit him harder. Yeah, it hit him harder.
It hit him harder.
Any of the others. Yeah, I think so.
I was feeling bad for JR. But I really was. I was devastated for JR, especially how fine he was. I was like,
right. And it had been so long. It was 10 years. And then when I read it, I was all like, I wonder if this could happen for real. I wonder who rubbing the stone for me right now. And I don't know.
It's funny because you do that, right? So being, in the situation too is thinking, so who in my high school or college did I not do, or in these whatever, and kind of thinking that can it go back to that? Then I'm like, no.
Yana, that's how you get in entanglements.
Maybe so. To kind of piggyback on that, a fun fact in the book. Well, fun fact, because I love learning little things from the novels that we read. But the courting pipe. Did you guys catch that when
yes, tradition.
Yeah. I have to ask you, TR, is there any truth to that? Was that something that you made up? For those who are watching via Facebook, the courting pipe was discussed in the book as a Native American tradition. I can't remember the tribe exactly, but the courting pipe would be something that the male would play outside of the window of the female. And if she came out in response to the music playing by the courting pipe, then he would know that, she was into him or she accepted him. But if she didn't come out, it was like no love lost. You got dissed and nobody has to know.
And maybe that's what Rob got, JR got his assertiveness from his mother. Because remember, her parents, or was it her mom that was trying to set them up or have her promise to another Native American? And she said she had just prayed for a mate, and then dad walked through from Louisiana, I think. No, he's from Mississippi. That's right, Mississippi.
Googa Mooga, you say Googa Mooga.
Googa Mooga, yeah, that's a Mississippi thing. And she put the pipe in his pocket. So maybe Rob gets his assertiveness from his mother. But was that like a folk part of the story, or was it true tradition that you discovered through your discoveries?
I discovered it through research.
Okay. I like that.
I like that tidbit. That was perfectly placed in the book too.
Thanks.
Okay, so far, are there any clues? Like, when I read the book description, we all know, and just to give you the particular line, when I said it, how if Dee Dee wants to save her company and claim her chance for love with JR, she would have to stop pretending. So we all know that there's something that's going to happen in relation to her finance of her company. So with the clues that we have so far with chapter 1 through 35, let's keep our minds stuck at 35, guys. Okay.
Yana, we're there.
That indicates does anything indicate why she's so vulnerable, and who do you think did it? Like, what do you think that's going to happen, and who do you think is responsible for it?
I can't talk about it.
Me either.
All y'all that went over 35, mute.
I'm thinking it's the Play brother. I'm thinking
what was he? Isn't that Adam? Is it Adam?
The little short man,
Carl.
Short men have done her wrong in her life. She needs to readjust. Step it up.
But
you know what?
CFO, right?
Yeah,
I think that's who did it too.
Marley talks about how Dee Dee got on her nerve. Except for the ex-husband, I kind of applaud her, I guess, as being a mother, and a wife. How she always stepped up with just how she handled things. So she had a lot on her plate with the organizing of her dad, with, health and trying to keep it emotion. I think at one point she said Dee Dee had no idea how she would keep playing the calm, supportive mom when she was really seething and shattering inside. She only knew that she would have to do it. And it's like, as they're going through all, this different chapter until you get to 35, because I started rethinking, like, did I read the description of the book right? Because aren't they supposed to be together? But all these chapters talk about different lives. So as I'm trying to get 18 chapters down today, I'm doing this like, okay, his life is here and her relationships are here and her father, but it takes her through all these different turns, and being in that, you speak about being in that sandwich area. Area in her life. I'm in that sandwich arena too. You got kids, you got husbands, you got a parent with health issues that you're taking care of. And it's like, yeah, I smile and I'm doing well, but it's just like, gosh, now I would just love to go to Vermont with my husband, but and then she gets all that balance and see everything rebuilding. another point that we didn't bring up with the question and the discussion is how some people have a tendency to be like, you know, for single people right now that's in the chat, like, well, when you gonna settle down? When you gonna find somebody to take care of you? And I applaud people who wait and really take their time. As I heard a friend say, she been kissing frogs till she got to that prince that she just discovered, you know. And sometimes later marriages and relationship makes it better.
It does.
And you know, now to find out that somebody she's probably trusted, because doesn't the insert even say that somebody gets murdered while they're trying to?
That's what we're trying to figure out. That's the question. So who do you guys think is responsible for the quote unquote, we haven't discovered yet, downfall that's mentioned about the book? So some of y'all said Carl. Those who have read ahead, you say nothing. But me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think it's Jillian.
Me too. Or some people
Jillian, we gonna wait and watch. It's gonna be Jillian.
Exactly, because what she probably did was send somebody she know to do something, pretend a contract or do something, and try to hook and cause some problems for Dee Dee. That's what I think too.
Look, she already threatened.
That's my second.
And she already pretty much said this is what she gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay, you better listen.
But it seems like her whole staff, except for the computer guy, geek guy, is totally against it. Her CEO, you know, value his time. Nobody splits their salaries two ways, and he's a good friend. He knows all her moves. Her assistant completes all her statements. So she only describes that staff when she's in the conference room, and it seems like everybody is against it except for the IT guy. Yeah. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the ex-husband somewhere in there, you know, but I'm never good with that stuff. I just feel like, gosh, this is something else that she's going to have to deal with. But you know what? We still skipped over the crazy relationship.
Yeah, we did.
With Master P.
I didn't want to give
Master Norris.
Remember, we have to say, so we're gonna leave some stuff. I think that's something that the readers need to discover, because
but it's good and crazy. Y'all really need to read this for face people that's online watching and haven't really caught up with the book. That's a whole level of crazy.
Right. I had to read that
whole level.
And she was
actually scary. That scene was standing there with your heart pounding with her, trying to figure out what's gonna happen.
But Deborah, you know what? Not for me. I did have an instance where somebody freaked out, and I was just as calm as a cucumber.
You have to be.
But I didn't second guess myself. I was like, I'm changing my locks. I got my number changed. I was getting ready to go to court to get a restraining order. All of that. I was like, business mode. He showed me who he was. Pay attention. Move accordingly.
She put all the stuff she learned in that Taekwondo during that moment. That's what
she wasn't gonna use it on him, but she
used
it on.
But no, the thought process of how she, you know, how she was staying calm and everything. She learned all that and she put it into motion. So I was like, "Ooh, that was scary." That was
It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary, especially for single people out here. I was like, "See, this is."
That's why you don't date. You read that as a single person, you be like,
I was like,
I ain't dating.
Well, when you're from DC, you don't worry about stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you.
Miss Pat, you from DC?
I'm from DC, and I have
no
Miss
fear
Pat when it comes to a confrontation. Never.
Tell Miss Pat, we ain't worried about it. We ain't worried about it.
Pat, I like
away from DC.
Middle-aged gangsters. All right.
When I moved out of Maryland, I moved from Silver Spring. But my whole life I was in the, what do you call it? The MDC. What you call it?
The DMV.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
that's where I'm from.
Oh, Deborah Davis said, Marley Ray, who is rubbing a stone for me right now, that will preach. You want to expound on that, Marley Ray?
What's that? What did she say?
She said, Marley Ray, who's rubbing a stone for me right now? And then she said, that will preach.
Tell Miss Deborah, I'm gonna have to talk to her offline. I'm not about to get into all that on.
Look, I'm a little news.
Right.
Rubbing the stone.
We're gonna talk after this over.
Okay. That little side combo. So let's have some fun here. I like this. And this is inspired by TR. I'm so glad she brought this up. So, and you know, we met a plethora of characters throughout chapter 1 through 35. Definitely not go through all of them, but think of 3 characters out of the book that you would cast in a movie. All right. Who wants to go first? All right, Miss Pat, you go first.
Okay, so Dee Dee can be Regina Hall.
Oh, okay.
Sanaya Latham or Halle Berry.
Okay.
Derek can be Terrence Howard.
He's too tall.
And J.R.
No.
Guys, I will say this. The people I pick, I will say this, they don't match the description. I pick people based off of how I feel their character in the book.
Okay.
So so go ahead, Miss Pat. I'm sorry.
And then J.R. for Morris Chestnut.
Ooh.
He's too short.
I like your pick. Deborah King, you got any cast members for us?
I don't know anybody who's on TV or in any movies.
What about
I like that. It's Star Trek people.
They have to be on the Enterprise.
Okay. Let's see. For Derek, I was going to say Idris Elba because he's short and he just strikes me as an arrogant little so-and-so.
Hold up.
Idris Elba.
Hold up.
Okay, she don't watch. She don't watch. Right?
Didn't worry.
Flag on the play, Deborah King.
On the play.
You done started all
Idris
this.
Elba for Derek?
Yeah.
Idris Elba 6'3". I mean, you wound me with this. You wound me.
Oh, damn it. Okay, they don't know what she's talking about. She don't know what she's talking about.
Okay, all right, you're right. She been over there on that full glass. All right. I can't believe it.
You know what?
Okay, go on to somebody else because I seriously don't know.
You know what, Deborah? That's gonna be the nickname of your glass, Idris Elba. That's the nick. You sip on Idris, and we're gonna move on to somebody else. Kendra.
Okay, so Dee Dee reminds me of she said not Regina. It would be definitely Sanaa Latham. Okay. Just from the portraits that she get. Derek, I'm bad with names. Derek would have to be the guy. He always plays the cheat. Derek would have to be the guy from what is it, Soul Food, whose husband cheated. What is that guy? He's that actor. He always plays a cheat in whatever movie.
Michael B.
Michael B.
Michael B.
Yeah, Michael B.
Because he's so short.
Oh yeah.
That would be perfect.
Yes.
That's an excellent cast.
That's a good cast. Yeah.
JR, oh my goodness. Once again, I'm bad with names. He played in, and you know this is so me, Gloria. He played in the Girls Trip.
Too is JR.
Okay, what's his name?
The Brand's Tape.
Kofi. Kofi would have to be.
Oh yes, with his fine self. Yes.
Yeah, Kofi would have to be JR.
Yes. Oh yes.
You know what? And with the description she gave with the nose and everything, he does fit that.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
Just that washboard.
Girl,
yes, it would have to be Kofi.
All right, Nene.
Whoever
wants to go, I'm not gonna
those, but her best friend, I would pick Lisa Ray.
Okay, I like that.
Lisa Ray, Lisa Ray can be kind of ghetto. Mm-hmm. But you can also see her kind of being like then flip to the doctor side, whatever. So I will put Lisa Ray as her best friend. Yeah. But I agree with Kofi, and Sanaa. Sanaa is such a good actress.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Very good picks. Anybody else? Wanda, I see you got a different cast line.
Yeah, see, every time I see Sanaa Lathan, and I just think of Love and Basketball, so I don't see her being, that submissive and that kind of that Dee has. I don't really see that. I think Regina Hall, I could see her being Dee Dee. But I was thinking for JR, Michael J. White, because I was thinking, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I think of when you cut, chopping wood and doing all of that, and his physique. That's what I see riding a bike.
Yeah.
I guess little Carl or little Derek. I don't know.
Okay, I got a character for Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Derek is Ghost from Power.
No.
Yes, I said it.
Good looking.
I said
Way
it.
too fine. Way too fine.
I said it. Well, he's short.
He's short.
Yeah, short.
He's short.
Lorenz Tate, though, only because.
Yeah, I thought Lorenz Tate.
But
I thought Lorenz Tate. Yeah.
Okay, I got somebody. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead,
these
Margaret.
are my picks. So for JR, there's a guy, y'all gonna have to Google him. His name is Travis Cure. Okay. Right. His name is Travis Cure.
How you spell that?
Yeah, how do you
Travis
spell
and then C-U-R-E.
Okay.
That's JR.
Okay.
Everybody take a little Zoom 2-second break. We're looking up Travis Cure.
Right. So Travis Cure.
Okay. Let me know the first person that gets it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Perfect, Marley
What's
Ray.
the,
Perfect.
maybe I
Yes.
got the wrong Travis Q.
Yes.
Travis Cure, C-U-R-E.
Yes,
Okay,
he's on the
I'm thinking
oval.
cure
Yes.
like a disease. Okay,
Yes,
wait a minute.
yes, that's it. Travis Cure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Spell the name again, Ray.
everything. Yes.
Right. See,
Gramophone.
yeah, see,
Spell the name
drop the
again.
mic on that one.
I'm gonna
Travis,
type it in the chat.
Travis Cure.
Type it in the chat.
Spell the name again.
Travis Cure.
He was on,
Yes, there he
he
is.
was on something not too long ago. And
Right.
he's
Y'all see the
like a
picture?
stalker type person. What
No,
is
that's not him,
That's
Kendra.
not him? Oh.
That's him.
But-
That's the same picture Nene got.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that's
Okay,
him.
I can.
That's him. That's him.
Okay, he look heavier on
Temptation
that.
Thursday a
Yeah.
lot, Kendra.
He what?
He on Temptation Thursday.
Yes,
He's
that's
on
him. Yeah.
on the oval too.
I know
Okay.
not what you speak of, Gloria.
The oval.
Okay.
I know not
So
what you
I'll
speak
show y'all
of.
a better picture of him.
There you go.
That's
That's
him.
the picture I like.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he would
Yeah.
be perfect.
So that's JR. Now,
Okay, JR.
right, just JR. And
I just
for
take your
Derek-
word for
Jay said no.
Said, okay, get to the ladies.
Right. Now for Derek Hill Harper.
Oh
Yeah.
Does
That's
play
a
that
good
part.
one.
Hill Harper.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Y'all leaving out the crazy boyfriend.
Yeah,
Girl, we don't talk
I ain't
about
got,
him.
look, I couldn't even picture him. I couldn't
Me
even
neither.
get him in my head real good because he got on my nerves.
He's non-existent.
Right. And I kept picturing him as Asian for some reason. I don't know why. I just did.
He's just light skinned.
But I couldn't, I couldn't get him out. I couldn't figure him out. Now, as for
Like they said when I
Dee,
moved to Texas, light
I
skin.
got nobody for Dee. I have nobody for Dee.
I have no, you know who I thought
couldn't
would
figure
be.
Dee out. Like,
And but it doesn't align with I thought Nia Long because she's starting to get older now. And I thought but she would mesh well with like a younger guy too.
yeah.
So I thought she would be a good Dee Dee.
What about the lady from what's the movie with Morris Chestnut? They did too. What is it?
Oh, not Vivica Fox.
Not Vivica Fox.
Calhoun?
What is it?
Not
No.
Taraji. No, Taraji
The short one.
Monica Calhoun.
This Christmas.
Yeah.
Not this Christmas, but you know his wife
It's the
died.
Best Man Holiday.
Oh, that's
Holiday.
Monica Calhoun. That's Monica
I
Calhoun.
don't know anybody's name.
Yeah.
It's Monica Calhoun. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was fun. So okay, so TR, we've given you our casting.
Thank you.
What did you have in mind? And if you don't want to reveal it, we totally understand. If this is
I'm gonna wait till the end.
gonna wait till the end. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, guys, as always, this has been fun. This book, oh my God, I'm so excited to get to the next chapters because it's been so unpredictable throughout. I mean, you got me on edge. I will say this. Yeah, like let me rub my pressure points. So I'm gonna pass the mic off to you, TR, if you have any closing thoughts, anything you want us to kind of keep our eyes focused on with the latter chapters.
Not for the latter chapters, but I have to stand up for my girl, Dee Dee. There's such a thing as codependency.
Yeah.
You know, when people, you know, and a lot of times the familiar, the comfort of familiar discomfort is easy not to, you know, it's not as easy to cut off as you think.
Yeah.
You know, so I think she is codependent.
Okay.
And I think that's why she keeps letting Derek call her. She sort of, that was a toxic sort of addictive type relationship. And it's hard sometimes to get yourself out of that.
Yeah. And you know what, and not to reopen that can, but I can only imagine being with someone that many years and sharing a life with them and you have to kind of need a stone to hold to kind of cut that off because that's your norm. You know what they say, it takes you not doing something like 27 times for you to break a habit or something like that. I can't remember the psychology behind it. But yeah, I can only imagine. I just was so annoyed that it was almost like every time you wrote about, you know, them talking, it was like he won. And I was mad.
Annoyed is the perfect word. It's the perfect word. Well, we will capture you and quarantine you, Trey, if you fall down that rabbit hole.
Please.
We just Ayana is gonna be your first line of defense.
I don't think Wanda would even let me get close to that, you know. So
I'm sure hope not. No. No.
Well, again, guys, this has been so much fun. You know me, I'm a sucker reading about any type of relationship, and the dynamics of the relationships in this book has definitely been fulfilling and satisfied my appetite. I tilt my hat to you, TR, so far.
Thank you. Thank you.
The book has been, a great ride. So, you know, we gonna be back here again October 18th, and I'm sticking to my date this time, y'all. Yay. Sunday at 7 p.m. And
okay.
Midwesters, it's Eastern Standard Time. I got to make sure I say that more often.
Okay.
Since we have more people, you know, joining us. A different. Yes. Okay, Ms. Pat. I see your hand.
Doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
We know that you have a women's event that you'll be speaking. Is that on Zoom?
It's supposed to be on Zoom. What I will do is when I get the login stuff, because I'm supposed to get it tomorrow, I will send it to you, and then you can.
We would love to join in if we can and listen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I've got lots of stuff coming in November for my nonfictions that are coming out.
Keep sending anything
For
that you
Kendra,
have.
it's about taking care of seniors without killing yourself.
Oh, I got one in the house.
A lifeline.
There'll be lots of Zoom stuff happening in November.
Okay.
I'll let you know tomorrow as soon as I get the login.
Please just give anything to Keisha and it'll come to us.
Please, Trey.
I definitely will. Definitely. Yeah, we have to get in on that. I'm with that. Kendra, stay on me with that.
I need an IV right now. I'm about to collapse.
I got you, Kendra.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, guys, again, this has been fun. I thank you guys for joining the panel, my Facebook family. Again, I see Alex is joining. Happy birthday, Alex. I hope you're having a wonderful time. And your butt better be back here on this panel next week because we got to hear your analysis.
Oh my Jesus, yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Of what's going on. Again, thank you so much. TR for allowing us to.
Bye-bye. I'm gonna finish reading right now.
Bye.
I'm gonna start reading.
I'm gonna read them again because it was that good.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so fair. She's done. I could have moved on too.
No, we weren't
We
supposed
were
to cheat.
following
I
directions.
know. I inadvertently moved on.
Wakanda forever.
Don't cheat. No, you didn't. You didn't inadvertently move on.
Yes, I did.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'll
Bye-bye.
see y'all in 2
Good
weeks.
night.
I gotta
Good
read. I
night.
gotta read.
Forever.
See y'all.